In the main event of UFC 208, the former UFC bantamweight champion Holm will face Randamie for the vacant UFC featherweight title. Holm last faced Valentina Shevchenko at UFC on Fox 20, where she lost the fight by a unanimous decision. Randamie last faced Anna Elmrose at UFC Fight Night 87, where she won the fight by TKO in the first round. When breaking this fight down, both fighters are high-level strikers who have developed their overall game very well over the years. Holm has a very high-level background in boxing and kickboxing and has won championships before transitioning to MMA. Randamie is a high-level kickboxer and a Muay Thai practitioner who has held numerous titles in Europe and has also successfully transitioned to MMA. Both fighters have had slightly different UFC careers. Holm has a UFC record of 3 wins and 2 losses and has faced ranked opponents ever since she made her UFC debut. She most notably dethroned long-reigning champion Ronda Rousey at UFC 193 to become the new UFC bantamweight champion of the world. On the other hand, Randamie has a UFC record of 3 wins and 1 loss. 3 of those wins are over unranked opponents, and her only loss is to the current UFC bantamweight champion Amanda Nunes. As you guys can see, there's a huge difference in what type of competition both fighters have faced in the promotion, which may play a big factor in the fight. I believe this fight will be a stand-up contest with both fighters trying to prove who the better striker is. I believe since Holm has faced top competition whilst fighting in the UFC, she will have the experience advantage. I believe facing top fighters such as Miesha Tate and Valentina Shevchenko, this experience would have helped Holm elevate her game to a new level. I believe Holm will mix the striking with some takedowns to win the fight by a unanimous decision. In the co-main event, Silva will be facing off against Derek Brunson in a 3-round middleweight bout. Silva last lost to Daniel Cormier by a unanimous decision at UFC 200. Derek Brunson last lost to Robert Whittaker by TKO in the first round at UFC Fight Night 101. When breaking this fight down, Silva has one of the best striking skills in the UFC and has produced one of the best highlight reel finishes in the promotion. On the other hand, Derek Brunson is a great wrestler who has developed his striking game very well over the years. Silva has shown glimpses of his old self in his recent fights, but has failed to secure a victory. He has lost his last 4 fights and hasn't won a fight since 2012, whilst Derek Brunson has been on a tear, finishing 4 of his last 5 fights by TKO in the first round. This is a very tough pick, but I believe Derek Brunson's reckless fighting style will be a massive advantage for Silva, who is great at being patient as well as being a great counterpuncher. I believe Silva's patience will help him win the fight by TKO in the second round. For the rest of the main card, Jacare Souza will be facing off against Tim Boetsch in a 3-round middleweight bout. Jacare Souza last defeated Vitor Belfort by TKO in the first round at UFC 198. Tim Boetsch last defeated Rafael Natal by knockout in the first round at UFC 205. When breaking this fight down, it is clear that Tim Boetsch has the power to knock any middleweight out and has shown this in his recent fights. He has shown that he's not afraid to stand and bang if he has to. On the other hand, Jacare Souza is one of the most highly decorated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners in the UFC and has developed himself into a complete mixed martial artist. I believe Jacare Souza has the grappling advantage and will look to use his high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and take the fight to the ground. I believe Jacare Souza's grappling will overwhelm Tim Boetsch and will win the fight by submission in the second round. Glover Teixeira will face Cannonier in a 3-round light heavyweight bout. Glover Teixeira last lost to Anthony Johnson by knockout at UFC 202. Cannonier last defeated Ian Cutelaba by a unanimous decision at the Ultimate Fighter 24 finale. Glover Teixeira is a seasoned veteran in the UFC light heavyweight division and has defeated majority of the top UFC light heavyweights. Cannonier dropped down from the heavyweight division and has looked great at 205. But I believe this is too much of a jump in competition for Cannonier, as he will be facing a high-level light heavyweight in Glover Teixeira. I believe Glover Teixeira will win this fight by TKO in the first round. Dustin Poirier will face Jim Miller in a 3-round lightweight bout. Dustin Poirier last lost to Michael Johnson by knockout at UFC Fight Night 94. Jim Miller last defeated Thiago Alves by a unanimous decision at UFC 205. Both fighters are seasoned veterans in the UFC and have looked impressive inside the octagon, but I believe Dustin Poirier has looked great at lightweight and I believe he has a slightly better overall game than Jim Miller. I believe Dustin Poirier will win this fight by a unanimous decision. Here are my predictions for the prelims. Let me know your predictions in the comment section below. Thank you.